Why not write about something else, about the Israel-Palestinian conflict?
Yes.
Like everyone else. Why did you take this specific subject to go into?
Good question. So when I was in Miluim, in the military service, I already, because you don't need to be a genius to understand that very soon the war will be over, and then the political war will come, and then all the international pressure will come, and naturally, I knew that our enemies, the soft ones from Europe and the jihadist ones from all over, they will want to destroy Israel. They didn't succeed in the war, so now they will do it in politics. And they will try to promote a Palestinian state. It was obvious for me because this is for sure what will happen. After war, there is international policies and states and negotiations and stuff. So I said to myself, okay, so we need to train for the next war, and the next war is a political one. So I wrote this book because people sometimes they don't understand that a Palestinian state is not a goal that people have to have a free country. A Palestinian state is a mechanism to destroy Israel. Okay, right. The whole argument is between Jewish people who wants a Jewish state and Arabs who want a Jewish state not to exist. Okay, it's not about two people who want a state for their own.
This isn't a question of coexistence.
Not at all.
This is an issue of replacement.
Exactly. So
maybe I did read your book.
Maybe you did. And the problem is that, okay, so you are knowledgeable. So you know how to explain yourself. But the problem is, what about the people who don't know how to explain it? So, okay, so intuitively, Israelis, they know why a Palestinian state, to have a Palestinian state on Judea and Samaria, a range that will topographically control the whole, the sea.
Coastal plain.
Yes. This is how you say Mishor HaChof?
Yeah.
Great. This is insane. A Nazi a country, this is their ideology in the end of the day. By the way, all the polls and surveys of Arabs in Judea and Samaria, they said we support Hamas, we support the 7th of October again. So all the people who support a Palestinian state, what they really support is the vanish and destruction of the Jewish state. So I said to myself, I must write a book that will be short as hell, and it is very short, but from the other hand, touches a lot of points. There are like close to 1,000 facts in this short book, and so I squeezed a lot of things that people will know how much really the Palestinian ideology is based on a Nazi ideology, not as a slogan, but for real, from Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Mufti of Jerusalem, that was very close to the Nazis, was a Nazi, and Nazi officers who, after World War II, livrach?
They fled.
They fled to Egypt and trained Egyptian terrorists. Yeah, to kill Jews. So it was very important for me that the Israelis will know how to explain it for themselves, to their close ones, and not only intuitively, because you need the knowledge.
So when we talk about like the progressive arguments, like I was saying, they sound nice. They sound obvious. Like, yeah, that sounds moral and logical. Like, yes, like for example, the Palestinian people, they deserve a state of their own. The same way the Jewish people deserve a state of their own. Now, if you have no real knowledge of history, no real value system, that sounds nice. That sounds right. We already addressed it. Give us another example of a progressive argument that's made that sounds nice and feels and is easy to be comfortable with, that you debunk, that you help provide the tools to understand how to combat such an argument in your book.
So two arguments that I hear a lot in panels, that I'm a lot in television, so I argue a lot. And two arguments that I hear a lot is, for example, some leftists, they always say, well, the Israelis, they are the ones, we are the refuseniks. We always refuse the opportunities to make peace. And in the book, I show, for example, that Ehud Barak was Prime Minister Ehud Barak was willing to divide Jerusalem, give 95% of Judea and Samaria and Gaza to the Arabs, to the Palestinians, to establish a Palestinian state, to give them 4% more of land in Israel.
And then they still said no.
And they still said no. Ehud Olmert later on
The same,
even said
even more.
but to cut to make also the Kotel, the Western Wall, also together. So and then so Arafat said no to Ehud Barak, and Abu Mazen said no to Ehud Olmert as the prime minister, because they always want one thing: pure Palestinian state, pure of Jews in Judea and Samaria and Gaza, and an Arab Jewish state as Israel, not
a Jewish state.
So I'm showing, but I'm showing it from 36, yes, from the Peel Commission until now. The Arabs always refused. Okay, there is a source of the conflict, yes, and the source is Arab. The Jews were always willing to compromise, to do peace, to do something. So I'm writing about it. Another argument that I hear a lot in television, but also in debates, panels and stuff, people say, well, the Israelis, we did peace with Egypt, we did peace with Jordan, so we can do also peace with the Palestinians. What is the difference? Although it is exactly the opposite, okay? The Egyptians, they took the Palestinian conflict aside, and only because of that we could make peace with them. The Jordanians did the same. They forgot about the Palestinians. Then we did peace. With Abraham Accords,
we also first defeated them militarily.
Yes,
Egypt
that's a good point.
was only willing to talk peace once they lost a war. Jordan was only willing to talk peace once they lost a war.
Yes.
And they clearly lost. There wasn't like this ambiguity of victory or not victory. The Egyptians still say they won in 73. Okay, sure. But their army was destroyed.
Yes, but from the other hand, when we did the Abraham Accords, okay, it was with countries that we didn't have like a big war before.
That we have no conflict with.
Yeah, but they still...
Right. But they made an accord from a place of strength, of economics.
Because they took the Palestinian... Because the Palestinian conflict, as people call it, okay, it has only one goal, is to maintain a conflict with Israel, that Israel will always will have bloodshed, okay? All this conflict is about not to have peace with Israel. When you take this mechanism, the Palestinian conflict mechanism, you put it to the side, then you can make peace. So it's not we did peace with Egypt, Jordan, and we can do it with the Palestinians. It is exactly the opposite. We can do peace with countries that take this mechanism out, because this mechanism is insane. Think about UNRWA, okay, the refugee problem. This is not even a problem. This is craziness. It's the only people in the world who has a special refugee agency stuff, and I write about it also. So all those things I write in the book, but very, very simple. Again, I'm trying to be simple as much as I can, that people will get it, because people we all know we're so neurotic, and it's very hard for us to concentrate on long books and long paragraphs, long lines. And here it's like easy. It's supposed to be easy.
Straightforward.
Yes.
Okay. Matan, I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Before we end. We're going to put a link to where you can buy the book in English in the show notes.
Thank you.
For our listeners, you'll be able to get quick and easy access to the book. I'm going to ask you a question, but don't answer me yet. All right? My question is like this. At the end of every show, I ask every guest to say what they're positive, optimistic, what it is that every morning they wake up and this is the reason why I'm hopeful for our future. While you think about the answer, again, just want to say thank you to our partners here at the Jerusalem Media Group and our sponsors, BeThereIsrael.com. For business and family events, BeThereIsrael.com provides live streaming services so your family and friends around the world can join you virtually. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can keep seeing more of this great content that we're putting out to you. Matan, what keeps you positive in life?
Being a Jewish man, being a Jew in the Jewish state, it's an unbelievable a coincidence because we're small in the world. I'm very happy, I'm very privileged, I'm very honored to take part in this ancient people, this ancient story, to take part in it. I think it's amazing. And I'm honored to take part in also defending this so good, moderate, sweet people, the Jewish people. And you can see why the Kurds, when they fight the Turks, they also wave Israel flags. Why the Iranians now that fight the regime use the Israeli flags? Because Israel is a light. It's a light. It's a good place for freedom. And we are the good in this part. And why the jihadistics and all the progressive lunatics, they use the Palestinian flags? Because they are chaos agency. They are agent of chaos. But if you want freedom and liberty, you use Israel flag. As you said, Jewish, Judeo-Christian values of freedom, of civilization. When I wake up in the morning, I say, thank you, God, for use me in this story.
Wow. Thank you, Matan. As always, Am Yisrael Chai.
פיתוח רכב, כל כך הרבה הצעות שאפשר לתבוע. פשוט תשבו בוובי, ובשתי דקות תקבלו הצעות מ-11 חברות ביטוח. אתם משווים בכלל. וובי, משווים, חוסכים וקונים ביטוח.
I spent the last 3 years in an underground bunker.
Oh, so it's real. Do whatever it takes to protect what I've built. It's never just about the bunker.